Imagine that you're motivated, hardworking, and ambitious. Imagine that you want to change the world for the better. But there's a problem. You don't know how to do it. How does that feel? I can tell you how it feels and how it felt, because that was me. As a student in the 1980s and a young man in the 1990s, I wanted impact, I wanted legacy, I wanted to change the world, but I didn't know how to do it. Instead, I, at least in my subconscious, focused on trying to impress other people. And to some extent it was successful and it worked. I still remember the buzz when I got a coveted place to study at Cambridge University, and I still remember my few sporting triumphs playing the English game of cricket. But I also remember how quickly that feeling passed away and crumbled as I had to look for the next way to impress other people. It didn't last, and I had that internal feeling of anxiety. Why did I come to TEDxTarnow and to the wider TEDx audience to tell you this story? It's because I've found an approach and a solution to this problem. I wish it had been available for me back then, and I want to share it with you now. And if you're more grounded now than I was back then, you know yourself better, and you have a clear plan in your life, I still think this approach can give you a more peaceful and happy life and include and improve your impact and effectiveness. And if you're like the stereotypical Polish teenager from the 1990s who was asked, is it true that the problems of Polish youth are ignorance and apathy? And he replied, I don't know and I don't care. If you're like that, I still think my story can have some benefit for you. So why did TEDxTarnow invite me onto the stage to tell my story? Let me take you through a little of my history, things that worked out and something that didn't work out. I came to Poland to live in 1991, and since then I've set up 30 businesses, which are now worth a lot of money. I've also put time and energy into supporting business and social entrepreneurship, including, as you heard, TEDx Kazimierz. I have 3 wonderful children, all of whom have been involved in their own TEDx projects, entirely independently of me. And last, but by no means least, I have become Polish by my own choice. I have no Polish ancestors. In 2017, I was awarded Polish citizenship, passing what for me was a challenging Polish language test. And so I can say to you, I'm very proud to be Polish. Jestem Polakiem, jestem bardzo dumnym Polakiem. Thank you, or I should say, dziękuję. Dziękuję. If I look back at the things that worked out, the thing that strikes me now is that many of the projects and ideas that worked for me were not my ideas. I either brought great ideas from the rest of the world to Poland, or I helped Polish people who approached me develop their projects. And I've come to realize that impact and legacy doesn't have to be to do with working on your own ideas. And I want you to remember that. I'll come back to that idea later. But I want to tell you about the biggest failure in my life. In 2003, after many years of desperately and unsuccessfully trying to hold my marriage together, I got divorced. This was definitely the hardest thing in my life, and this isn't the time and place to go into the details, but it was the strongest and the weakest thing I ever did. Strongest because I had to say the unsayable. I had to tell my wife, her parents, my parents, and my 3 small children about my decision. And the weakest thing, because I simply couldn't hold it together anymore. When you fail so publicly and so completely, it forces you to reevaluate the very idea of looking good in the eyes of other people. You have to take on the demon of worrying about society's opinion and beat the demon and put it behind you. So then, after I was divorced, I was living alone, apart from the 50% of my time when my children were with me, and I'd wake up in a silent and empty bedroom. I'm sure you can imagine what that might be like. And over time, I developed what I call the toothbrush test. In the morning and in the evening, you do your teeth, looking in the mirror. And this is not a talk about dental hygiene. It's very important to brush your teeth, not just once, but twice. But that's not my TEDx talk. As you look in the mirror in the morning, you should ask yourself, am I happy with my plan for the day? And at the end of the day, when you look back, did I do the things today that were most worth doing? And what really matters is not what other people say and other people think. What matters is how you judge your day yourself. Other people will come and go, but you will always be there. So you have to do what matters for you. This idea was perfectly illustrated by 10-year-old Ishita Katyal when she opened TED in 2016. And she said, "Don't ask children what they want to be when they grow up. Ask them what they want to be now." It's a great instruction, but it can be generalized. It's not just for children who should ask themselves what they want to be doing right now. I'm in the right place right now. I know that I should be giving this talk at TEDxTarnow. But are you in the right place in the audience or watching online? Is this the right thing for you to be doing right now? The other thing that comes through Ishita's idea is the importance of taking action, of doing. When I was a young man in the 1990s and earlier, I often had business ideas that I didn't put into action. And when I did put them into action, I didn't know how to make them work. I didn't know how to make them work effectively. When my first business, SKK, started taking off in the 1990s, on the outside we were doing well, growing, making money, having great clients. But I was incredibly stressed because I didn't have the basic skills of organization and management. And I was looking around for a solution and came across a book by Hiram Smith, The 10 Rules of Life and Time Management. And it kind of saved me. I realized that if you can manage your time, you can manage your life. My talk today isn't about the importance of being able to organize yourself and your time and that of other people. But if you want to have legacy and impact, that's incredibly important. Now, suppose you agree with me. You get the idea that you shouldn't worry about other people's opinion. You get the idea that you should take action towards having a positive impact, but you still don't know what to do. The world's most famous investor, Warren Buffett, once said that an idiot with a plan, can beat a genius without a plan. But my story seems to imply something different, because I didn't come to Poland with a clear plan, and the successes and things that happened were a result of other people coming to me. And what I concluded, I was very lucky, because I was kind of ready for opportunity. But you don't need to be lucky. The army has a concept of battle readiness, the extent to which a fighting unit is ready for war now. You can be opportunity ready, and I want to talk to you about the idea of opportunity readiness, because you never know when opportunity is there and it will come. It might be something gleaming in the far left side of your field of vision. If you're not looking out for it, you'll miss it. And if you see it and you're not ready, you can't take advantage of it. So, how can you get opportunity ready? Let me explain. I've prepared this talk. Number one, think about your physical fitness. It's obviously great to be in good shape, but if you're physically fit, you're eating well, sleeping well, looking after yourself, when opportunity comes, you'll have the stamina and strength to take advantage of it. And also, you'll get in the habit of taking on challenges and dealing with them. Think about your skills and education. Is there a difference between where you are now and where you need to be? There are so many things you can learn that will make you a better co-founder, a better person to help someone else with their project, the better leader of a new project. And if you take on the challenge of developing yourself, of course, you immediately become much more attractive as a potential partner for other people to have you join them. And also, education is fun, and also it builds your sense of self-esteem. What about your money and finances? By this, I don't mean, are you rich? I mean, are you spending less than you make and avoiding buying things on credit? Because the more you save, the more you can invest, and the more you can invest, the more you can devote time to your opportunities when they come. And suppose your partner, your family, and your friends admire you for your physical goods, for the things you consume, rather than your character. Well, that leads to something altogether more serious. Are your relationships ready for opportunity? Suppose here at TEDxTarnow you come across a brilliant idea and you go home excited and you tell your partner about the idea you want to devote the next 6 days, weeks, months, or years of your life to. Will they support you, or will they be jealous of your time? Are they the sort of person who's a little jealous that you're here today, not with them? And if you're a minute late home, you'll be getting a text message. Please don't look at your phones right now. If you have the sort of partner who supports you, cherish that partner. You're very lucky. And if you don't, well, that's very sad. But ask yourself this: should you be spending your life with someone who's not going to support you in your dreams? You have one life, it's precious. And what about your family and your friends? Are you spending time with the sort of people who will encourage you? TEDxTarnow, other TEDx's are full of people who will inspire you and encourage you. My father, when he taught at Oxford University, told his students, "You will learn more from each other than from me." That can be generalized. Choose who you spend your time with carefully. And do you have the opportunity mindset? Is your radar switched on for opportunity? Are you spending your time getting new experiences, meeting new people, talking to strangers, exposing yourself to diversity? The more diversity of experience, the more opportunities you'll have. And if you do come across someone doing something fantastic, consider offering to help them or joining them. But remember this: if you offer to join them or to help them, they might say no. All of the opportunities I've had either resulted from people approaching me and asking me for help, or more often me going to them and offering, and people will say no. The other side of opportunity is accepting the risk of rejection. And your self-awareness. I told you when I was younger, I didn't realize that I was driven by the need to look good in the eyes of other people. TEDxers are driven by the desire to share ideas worth spreading. If that's what drives you, let that be your thing. But if it isn't that, get to know yourself, understand what motivates you, because that will truly drive you forward. And so, to close, I want to tell you that I've been through the story of a young man who didn't know how to achieve the impact he wanted, who worked through life trying to look good in the eyes of other people. And now I've ended up on stage in front of you today because it's not about me and my ideas. That's not the route to impact and effectiveness. It doesn't mean that everything works for me. It doesn't mean that everything's easy. And believe me, and the other speakers will confirm this, giving a TEDxTarnow talk isn't an easy thing to do. But I'm at peace because I'm doing what I believe in and what I want to do. If I have a plan, I work on it. But if I don't have a plan, I work on my opportunity readiness, because I know that that will bring me closer to my life's goal of having an impact and making positive change. And you don't know whether your opportunity will be 5 years from now, 5 months from now, 5 days from now, or tomorrow. And you can do the same as me. You can work on your opportunity readiness. So, what does that mean? I told you already, get into shape, turn your radar on, talk to strangers, offer to get involved, be ready for rejection. And don't do it next week, don't do it tomorrow, start today.